think one of the times of us doing that should just be the intro.
Bang.
Bang. Glorious.
Let's go. Okay, yeah. Another sort of societal awkwardness I find it awkward anyway, is when churches advertise, but it's not sort of advertising, it's those weird little, I think they're all C of E, I don't know, propaganda posters, I don't know how you classify them, but when it's like...
Well, how do you classify them?
Like a pair of goalkeeper's gloves, and they're holding a football, and it's like, you're in safe hands with Jesus, and you're just like, wait, what? Why? What are you?
Oh yeah, I've seen a few of these.
Yeah, it's like, oh, come on, we want to entice you into church. It's like, well, surely if God's like the real big guy that he could be, I'd be going there anyway, wouldn't I? Let's face it, he shouldn't need you to pay a lot of money to Vistaprint to print off business cards.
Business cards for the Lord and Saviour.
Yes. Yeah. Have you thought about Jesus? Number 1, the Vatican. Oh.
Yeah, just ask the operator for Vatican City.
I just find it really weird that, again, like I said, I don't know how to classify it.
I'd say it's an advert because they're trying to sell you on their product. So if you go past the butcher's window and it says, now stocking fresh Lincolnshire sausages, that would be considered an advert because it's a thing that they're selling you. And if you go past the church and they go, hey, have you tried Jesus?
Yeah. Now stocking salvation.
Now stockings on all of our priests. That's a Catholic joke for you.
Hey.
So yeah, are you uncomfortable about it because you just don't particularly like organised religion?
Partially, and like I say, I think that if your religion is going to exist, it should have the ability to stand on its own 2 feet and not require big shiny objects to go, ooh, come inside, talk to us. Look, talk to us about Jesus. He's a lovely bloke,
Okay. To play devil's advocate here for a second, you might have the most amazing, I don't know, Ferrari in the world, but unless you advertise how amazing your Ferrari is, nobody's going to buy your Ferrari.
Ooh. Now, there's a topic.
What Ferraris?
Yeah. Have you seen the new Ferrari Enzo F50? Oh, wow, all the horsepower.
It does a certain special thing to my fizzy tickly voice.
It's got a V12 smorgasbord, and it is amazing. It depends how you would classify word of mouth, because I believe a product can succeed without any massive advertising. Because that's how a lot of things get by, and get by on word of mouth.
Yeah, that's true.
And I also, to sort of cover the religion bit, religion should always be a choice and something you come to, not something that is forced upon you. Granted, religion is not the big advertising bastard that something like a DFS sale is. Where it's constantly pumped into your eyes that a sale is happening. And come on down to church. Whoa! We got bargains for you. Eternal salvation.
For the low price.
All you have to pay is tithe. What's that? What?
Okay, so, again, counter-argument. A religion or a faith should be something you come to. But how are you going to learn about it?
That is what school is for, dear boy. I think with this, it's a confusion. It's an amalgamation of religion and advertising, and those two shouldn't necessarily meet, because I genuinely believe that maybe not all world religions, because that might take quite some time, but every child in school should be given a brief introduction, like RE, RS, religious studies, whatever it's called these days, does a moderately good job of doing that, giving a child a background into as many possible world religions as possible, and it'll be like, hey, this is a bit about Buddhism and Christianity, but then you've got to break down Christianity into Methodists and Church of England and Protestants and Catholics and blah 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 blah. And same with Islam, they don't go down what's Sunni, what's Shia, and it should be, religion should always be a personal journey, in the same way that atheism should be. This is all just my opinion, of course, but stop forcing religion on your children. You're horrible people for doing it. And that is why all advertising is trying to do is coerce you into buying that product, because they want you to have it. And that isn't what religion should be. Religion should be a personal journey that you come to and go, this is what I believe, and this is what is right, and hey, if you don't, that's fine. I don't see any sort of Sikh advertisement outside of a temple. I don't really see any Islamic advertisement other than, this is the name of the centre, this is what it is. It's not like, hey, have you thought about the Guru Granth Sahib recently? That's a Sikh one.
Good knowledge. I have seen that.
Have you?
Yeah, so you know how you see in the city centre, you'll have, usually on a very poor quality, like megaphone or something, people trying to yell Jesus into your life.
Oh.
So you have those people. Then you have the ones who are out there and they're doing more of a humane kind of outreach, where they'll try and just actually talk to people. Maybe they'll be giving out free food and having conversations with people.
Yes.
Well, I've seen denominations from like churches, Christian churches, from Islam and from Sikh Gurdwaras doing that kind of outreach on the cities in our streets, particularly outside my place of work.
Oh.
In fact, I got a Quran from one of them.
Did you?
Yep.
Proper Quran?
I have an English translation Quran, yeah.
Oh, nice.
I've never read it, so I thought I'd give it a go.
Yeah.
I still haven't.
I imagine it will be not easy reading.
Well, no, this is the thing. If you've never read any if you've never had that in introduction to a particular religion or the tenets of the beliefs or the language that things are written in, and I don't mean like specifically what language it's written in, but like the way that the words are put together, the way the sentences are structured, then it can be pretty strange. And you've got the classic examples. You pick up of people picking up a Bible and it's full of these, thous, those, and these.
Yeah.
People don't really speak like that. And I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a similar experience when I finally get around to actually picking up the Quran again. I did ask the fellow who handed out what he would recommend me reading first, and the look on his face was one of blank bemusement. I was like, so I've never read this. Where do I start? And he went, well, that's a good question.
Which chapter's the best? Which one's got the murder in?
Just something that is relatable.
Yeah.
Just something that you can say, read this, and then go from here to here to here to here. Because I don't... there certainly in churches, they don't recommend that you pick up the Bible and begin at the beginning.
Yes, because that is...
And go all the way to the end.
Essentially a timeline at the very beginning.
Yeah. There's a timeline, and then there's like 4 books full of rules, and nobody wants to read that.
And then the New Testament comes along and like, oh, well, those rules, we don't really need to worry about them.
Yeah.
Apart from the sects of Christianity go, no, we do need to worry about them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Jews who go, well, no, these are all ours. What's this new bit? Jew, nah, I don't like that guy.
And then the weird sects of Catholicism which go, hey, missed out the bits with the dragons.
It's almost like religion is picked and chosen out of the book. Huh.
Would you go figure?
Yeah,
so you don't really like churches advertising?
I'm not a fan of outside advertisement, and I like it when areas of religion do good things. I do not like it when they seem to be co-opting it to kind of big themselves up, as it were.
Yeah.
So, like, oh, let's, go and help the poor. oh, by the way, Poe, while we're here, have you thought about coming to church? Like, don't try and coerce them into your way of thinking just because you're doing something nice. Just go do something nice, and if they ask and say, oh, this is really nice here, I'd quite like to learn more about Christ, I'd quite like to learn more about the tenets of Islam or whatever, that's fine. Then, okay, yeah, you're going to it down there.
Oh, that means we're getting another one in a minute. Don't they have the talky bit first?
Oh,
hello, come back.
Oh, screen time out.
Don't they have like the talky bit first, where they have like introduction to the episode, and then you have ah, ha, 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 and then the
Canned
theme,
laughter.
theme music.
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
That's the
There it
noise.
is.
14 million years ago, expansion started. Wait. Here we begin.
I've never seen an episode of Big Bang Theory. I've flicked through and seen moments of it on E4. As it happens, you changing channels.
Yeah.
And it was the canned laughter that put me off it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get in behind this. People are like, oh, but you love science and nerdy jokes.
Yeah.
You're going to love it. And then one particular episode, someone said, this episode's great. You're going to love some of the jokes in this. The thing that put me off it was that they got the science wrong. Which means, the science... If you're going to make a science joke, the joke has to be good, but the science has to be right. Otherwise, it's not a good science joke. It's just a lazy joke. And for all of the facts that of people going, oh yeah, it's really well written, it's all this, it's really funny. I'm like, yeah, but that didn't make sense because it's a basic misunderstanding about how that particular part of science works, which is a common misunderstanding. But if they're so clever about it, why don't they do it right?
Yes. The Big Bang Theory, I guess that's kind of socially awkward as well. Let's move away from religion. That's a divisive topic, isn't it? The Big Bang Theory is also a very divisive topic.
Is it?
Oh, very, because it does seem to be there's two camps of either people who love it or hate it.
Yeah.
And then obviously the third camp of people who've never seen it and hold no opinion. Is that thing, I really don't like the way that the Big Bang Theory is one of those things that has made people think they know science or think they like science.
Oh, right.
They do not. They just
like the Big Bang Theory.
They like feeling intelligent. It's one of those shows where it gives you just a little slivery, tasty, tiny little bit of knowledge that you can regurgitate to your friends, and you can say Schrodinger's cat and feel really clever, and then fundamentally not understand anything about it because Schrodinger's cat, the idea was put forth by Schrodinger to prove how absurd quantum physics was. Because, in terms of... It wasn't like, if I have a cat and it's in a box with this radioactive material, it is simultaneously alive and dead.
Yeah.
It was more sort of, with quantum physics, if I've got a cat in a box with some radioactive material, it's both alive and dead.
Yeah, he was trying to... argue
this
against
way of thinking is absurd.
Quantum mechanics and superpositions. Yeah.
Like you say, I suppose kind of like a religion, It gives people this little sliver, and if it does help people to go on from there and learn more and actually realise things and actually get into science, then that is really good. However, if it just leads to you being that guy who just regurgitates potentially misunderstood quote-unquote facts and purporting them as true forever, then that doesn't really help anybody or anything, and you're nothing to me.
You are less than dirt. Yeah, I think TV shows have a lot of power in that regard, especially if they get into popular culture like Big Bang Theory did, and some other things have as well.
TV shows have sometimes a lot more influence than people give them credit for. Yeah, and if they are able to permeate, they can alter people's way of thinking and what they're interested in. Pique people's interests.
I was just trying to think about it from the other point of view as well, though, because TV and all culture is a result of the society it is from.
I think there's always essentially two stances. There's proactive and there's reactive. In terms of the Big Bang Theory, I would say that's probably proactive because there was no that kick-started a trend towards science. And obviously there's been things like Carl Sagan's Cosmos and Bill Nye the Science Guy and stuff like that. That had all happened before. Yeah. But since the Big Bang Theory came on, it was them proactively finding a niche And from there, you've had kind of the increase in influence of people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye the Science Guy coming back, and Cosmos being remade and reshown. And so that's kickstarted a trend, and everything else from that has been reactive. I would argue that maybe most comedy tends to be reactive because most comedy tends to be pushing back against something. So you've got Peep Show kind of reacting to societal norms and the way that people live their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just constant memes that have spawned from it. And especially in like the 80s with TV like The Young Ones, that is a reaction against the Thatcher government.
Yeah.
And comedy seems to work almost best when it's a protest and a reaction rather than a proactive stance, because if you're being proactive, you're not necessarily going against something. You're a creator, and therefore your words tend to have less meaning. Case in point, The Big Bang Theory, they don't push anything. Like, they're not causing you to really think. They're putting things out there, and like they've not pushed back against anything, said, you know, hey,
right,
you should really think about science. It's really great. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's just been like, oh, here's some jokes that involve science.
Yeah. It's quite surface. It's quite light on content.
Yeah.
It's not actually.
It's typical American, really.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, you got something like, is it Louis C.K.'s?
Louis C.K., yeah.
And again, that's kind of reactive to life. That is not just putting out light jokes. That's kind of a self-examination of the self and
I see what you're saying,
one's life, and it's reacting to situations. Ooh, it's all got a bit deep, didn't it?
This did, yeah. We went off on a bit of a tangent.
The proactivity and reactivity of comedy.
I would say I think that stand-up comedy is more adept at being reactive than like serialized comedy. But I also think that it's not just limited to comedy. You can have quite serious. Look at House of Cards, for example, as an example of something that's reactive against certain influences in the society. And considering it takes them, maybe they'll film a series and then it takes maybe 10 or 12 months of editing and post-production before it is aired. A lot of people, when you watch a series, when it's released, for example, a lot of people draw comparisons between it and current things happening in particularly in politics in America, and go, oh my goodness, look at this, it's so current and relevant, when really it's actually 10, 12 months old, and it was more predictive rather than anything else, which is terrifying.
In a way, then, one could argue it's actually been proactive. But not really, because of the reasons you just explained.
Because that's not how time works!
You also had another topic to bring up. Which,
So, people are weird.
Yes.
Right?
People are also strange when you're a stranger.
People are strange when you're a stranger. And like most people who live in a city, I spend a lot of my time walking around with my headphones in.
Yes.
Listening to my music. Because
human interaction is awful.
It's terrible. And you just want to live in your own little bubble that extends for, I don't know, maybe half a foot around you in all sides. No human contact, and just ignore everything. I, for some reason, took my headphones out and decided not to wear them when I was on my way to work the other day.
Madman!
I know, I'm insane. But it did lead me to overhearing snippets of conversations as I was walking through town.
Yes, you do.
I still was in my bubble. I just didn't want to interact with anybody, so I was still just walking past everyone, which gives you this amazing 3-second glimpse into other people's lives as you're walking past them, especially if you're going in opposite directions. And you get glimpses of conversation, like if someone's on the phone or something, you hear them, I don't know, ordering 500 tuna steaks, and you go, what the hell? What is going on in your life?
Yes.
But the really weird example I had was, I was walking past a pair. I was going to say a couple, but I think they were a pair, just friends.
Yeah.
There was a boy and a girl, and they were in their late teenage years. They were walking past me. They were walking towards me, and as I was walking past them, and I overheard 6 words out of this girl's mouth, and it was, and it just sliced up my vagina. And the guy who was next to her just went, yeah, it hurt. And that's the last I heard of that conversation. Yeah, no doubt it hurt.
That is one of those windows that you would love to peer more into.
If I hadn't been going on my way to work, I would have done the 180 and just been like, what?
Oh, yeah.
No, I wouldn't, because that would have been weird and ended up in me stalking someone. Officer, I promise, all I wanted to know was about her vagina. This isn't weird. Why are you putting the handcuffs on? All I wanted to know was about her genitals. Please. Yeah, sure.
Oh, dear. Oh. Why don't we get more female listeners? I cannot assume why.
Because, I don't know. Because we don't advertise like a church. Maybe what we need to do is go out and do some charity work, and as we're doing it, people go, "Oh, thanks. Where are you from?" "Oh, yeah, we have this podcast."
Yeah, we're just, we're kind of a small deal. I mean, we're very underground. You've probably not even heard of us.
Don't worry, nobody has. Yeah.
You've probably never heard of us, and that's not really a good thing.
That's not a surprise.
Yeah.
But you have now.
Business card. I printed it on the back of a cracker. Oh, it's information and food. You're welcome.
I couldn't afford the free Vistaprint.
I imagine in the past I have heard a few things like this, but like you said, it's been so long now that I've been in the old in the earphone bubble that I've not had a chance to hear a lot. I do remember when I was living in Bolton.
Yeah.
It wasn't really overheard. It was kind of being yelled.
Just yelled on the street.
This most definitely was a young couple or a couple. I don't think they're about to be a couple much longer. Her phrase was, "Yeah, well, you didn't have to shag her, did you?" And I couldn't make out what he said. And the next thing I know is she's yelling across the street to me, "Have you got any fags?" And I go, "No, sorry." And he goes, "Don't you fucking talk to her." And then she says, "Shut up, it's not his fault." And obviously I walked quicker.
Yeah,
and
just get away from that.
Yeah, like I say, not really overheard, more of an interaction, which I did not want.
Yeah, a forced interaction.
And speaking of forced interactions, I seem to attract, when I go out drinking, which is seldom, but I've been known to do it, to have the odd alcoholic beverage.
The odd beverage.
I can vividly remember being in a pub. You may have been there, I can't remember, but I was talking to two female colleagues, and I was like, then, I meandered my conversation away, and they ended up talking to this old bloke who had made himself comfortable at our table. And I received the old elbow in the ribs, and just like, "Oh, hefty, give us help with this, it's getting weird." So it was then that I chose to interject myself in the conversation. "Oh, you alright, mate, what are you talking about?" And this old man, I don't know if he'd been working on this look for a while, but he gave me a look that could melt steel. And he did that look up and down thing, which was short because I was seated, and so you could only see the top half of me. And he just looked at me, and he just goes, "Look at you, you fucking cunt." I've had drinks that would knock you on your fucking ass. And that's one of those situations where you just kind of go, "Huh, well, I have apparently jumped in at the deep end of a pool that I did not intend to go in."
Yeah.
And there was one of the ladies made allusions that I was a doctor. I am not. It just kept sort of spiraling downwards, and he brought it back around to me apparently being some kind of medical professional, and he looked me back up and down and he went again, and just went, I bet you're a fucking student, aren't you? You fucking cunt." And yet again, you just kind of just sat there going, "Well, whew, guess this is why more people don't white knight, eh?"
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my story of being called a cunt twice.
By some crazy lecherous old man in a pub.
Yeah. However, I'm not a strong man by any means, but he was fairly sozzled, and I'm very confident I could have taken him.
Had the need arisen.
Yes. But I tend to always attract weirdos when I go out drinking. It seems like there'll always be that one guy who everyone else is just like, oh, fucking avoid him. This is a weirdo. And as soon as they see me, they just look at me and kind of go, you're going to be my friend for the evening. This is you and me.
You're mine now.
You and me, sir. We're going to the moon.
Oh, God.
And I'm not that guy who can be like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, oh, shit. I made a friend for the evening.
Yeah, that's another one of those socially awkward situations I don't really know what to do in.
Yeah, you're just
you're talking to me. You're still talking to me.
Yeah.
You're not getting anything out of me. I'm not responding in any way, but oh God, he's still going.
When it's just, and again, this is a situation I've had where they just sit down and say, oh, you're alright, mate, yeah. Oh, it's been every night, mate. Do you know what, mate? I am out to fucking smash some fanny. And you're just like, yeah, you fight the good fight, brother. Smash it.
You go, you fanny smasher.
You cave it right in, you big old roister-doister. And it's like, me and you, mate, you are going to be my fucking wingman. Either I'm getting my dick wet or you are. Yeah, okay.
See, that sentence requires some clearing up. Either I'm getting my dick wet or you're getting it wet for me. Is what it could be. Or you are. Yeah.
Possibly.
I'm not going to get your dick wet for you, mate.
Look,
not even slightly.
At a push, if we're both in the urinals, I might piss on it for you. I don't know.
We're both in the urinals. I'll push you forward so you get some splashback on yourself. But that's about as far as I'll go.
You know, I might cross stream if I'm feeling like a Ghostbusters moment. But
I'm feeling particularly fruity.
Yeah. And it then just sort of, devolves down into, I know it's a great karaoke place.
Yeah. Oh, God.
No, I've got to stay here with my friends.
No, I don't.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, it's alright. I'll stay with you then, mate. You and me.
Yeah,
It's till the end. Oh, God. And I also remember having out with some other guys, and again, weirdo made a beeline for me. Just came straight up. Hey mate, do you like Oasis? And I was just like, the band or the drink? And I was just like, the band.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Good response.
Yeah. He was like, oh, the band, mate. And I'm like, well, yeah. And all of a sudden, one of my friends put in like, mate, whatever you're selling, we don't want it. And that's precisely the situation I wanted to avoid, because then it all started kicking off like, I'm not selling anything, who the fuck who you are, blah, 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 blah. Until in the end it ended up with me saying, guys, let's just all calm down, let's go get some chicken. And we ended up at a chicken restaurant. It's I have a weird way of diffusing things,
but if it works,
yeah, it definitely works.
Diffuse a situation of tension with fried chicken.
Yeah, and it turned out they both really liked Oasis, the band. Their stance on the drink remained unknown to me, but they made friends, which was nice. Yeah, this is why I don't drink too much anymore, because it just I don't do anything bad, just bad things happen around me.
A relentless barrage of weirdos.
End this now.
For the benefit of humanity.
Finish this. Podcastality. I don't know. Lost it there.
Mystery, something.
Bang.